Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Valley Vision. I'm Abby Alonzo, Joe Mitchell. We had some road bumps this morning, but we're back. We're a little bit later than normal. Still trying to fix this mic. Also, I think the hat needs to I think the hat needs to go backwards because you can't see my eyes. So we're gonna rock with it today. It's Monday. We can, after I fix my hair, This is how today has gone, basically. Right, Joe? Yeah, he's laughing. He's laughing. Don't worry.
There's a lot going on here.
This is how today has gone. I think the backwards hat might be a vibe for me. We got a lot of good. I mean, we're really. Let's just get started. I don't know if y'all noticed at the bottom of the screen, we have a new, what's the word? Logo. That was the word. You got 7-3. Is it this way? No. This way. There we go. 7-3 Distilleries in New Orleans. Their logo's down there because they have this fire vodka that we keep pushing, and I'm just going to keep pushing it until you guys buy it. And believe me, one of the best vodkas I've tasted. Seriously, it does not burn. We keep saying this. At this point, you just have to try it yourself. Shout out to 7-3 for not only...
And also... What?
Go ahead.
And also, like, even if you don't love vodka, it's a great gift because it's the official vodka of the Bayou Collective.
Yeah, Bayou Traditions.
Bayou Traditions Collective. So if you want to support NIL and help LSU get great athletes, a portion of every bottle of vodka goes towards that collective.
Yep.
Proceeds. So great gift.
So you are literally paying the athletes when you buy this vodka, St. Rock vodka. The branding's awesome. It looks good on shelves. It's a great Christmas present for vodka drinkers, for big LSU fans. And it tastes good. I don't know what else to say other than go buy the freaking vodka. So yeah, 7-3, their logo down there. But also, we've got SeatGeek because we are now partnered with SeatGeek. We are affiliate partners. The code right now, so on your first purchase, if you use this code, you'll get 20% off of any tickets that you buy. So if you're trying to go to LSU women's basketball or LSU gymnastics, maybe hit the PMAC, need some tickets, definitely use code Abby Alonzo. That is the code for now. We're trying to get it changed to something a little bit more simple, but it is my full name right now, Abby, A-B-B-Y, Alonzo, A-L-O-N-Z-O. No space, one word altogether. 20% off on your first purchase with SeatGeek. Hit them up. All right, let's get into it because I know I hit the desk again. I know it makes a noise. I'm sorry. I'm very animated, especially today. We have a lot to go over. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. We're starting to see sports really cross over. So content coming at you all over the place moving forward. But what happened on Saturday, Joe? What happened on Saturday?
I think that kid won the Heisman. Huh?
I think that kid did win the Heisman. Jayden Daniels is your Heisman Trophy winner. We called it weeks ago. This has been a campaign that has gone on for nearly half the season, if not longer. There were a lot of doubters. There were a lot of people who negated us and said, it's going to Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy at one point. Who hoisted that trophy up on Saturday? Jayden freaking Daniels, and rightfully so. I think this is a win not only for Jayden, not only for LSU, but for college football. To hand that trophy to somebody who deserves it, regardless of what the team's success looked like this season, is a win for college football. Shout out to Jayden. His speech was awesome. You always love to see the emotions get involved, and he did a great job. He acknowledged not only the LSU players, his teammates, of course, all the coaches and everybody who's mentored him along the way, but he acknowledged those ASU players, his former college players. That's a class act, given the backstory, what happened when he entered the transfer portal, and they were saying, he sucked anyway, clear his ish out of his locker. There's a video of that. We've all seen it. He chose the high road, and again, that I don't want to group that whole team into that, but there were a few that were not fans of Jayden Daniels, doubted Jayden Daniels. I think a lot of people doubted Jayden Daniels, but he was a class act on Saturday and thanked his former ASU teammates. He also apologized to Tiger Nation for not bringing back another national championship, which if you're an LSU fan, you're like, oh my gosh, like we appreciate that, but you did so much for us. Like you did more than enough. We love you, Jayden. So he acknowledged that. Hopefully we see another Natty in the future, but I'll take a Heisman winner. I'll take a freaking Heisman winner. Come on. I thought it was precious how Joe Burrow was like completely in his corner too. They released a hype video of him calling Jayden and like what he said to Jayden and everything. So that LSU bond is definitely deep. We tell y'all that all the time. Y'all know that. And I thought one of the funnier parts of his speech was when he turned to his dad and he was like, hey, it was probably a good move moving from cornerback to quarterback, don't you think? And everybody kind of laughed. But I do want to pose this question. So Jayden wins, happy ending. We're in a great spot. We love to see it. How much of an impact do we think LSU Creative had on the decision-making or him getting the actual award? And that is a fair question because they launched an entire campaign, the website, the billboards, the social media just engagement and the conversations that were across the internet for weeks. How much of an impact do we think that LSU's creative team had on the decision-making?
I think they had a great impact.
I think so too.
And the reason I say that is because there were 27 ballots of Heisman voters who didn't even have Jayden like on their list, which first of all is absolutely ridiculous.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, that's insane. If you want to put Penix 1, I'll disagree with you, but if you're a reasonable person, we can disagree and I'll hear you out and listen to your reasoning. The fact that they had Jayden not even on the ballot is ridiculous. And so I think it was a lot of the media team. And look, Jayden did enough on the field to win it without any help. But I think it was the media team that went to those people and put it in front of them and were like, look at the stat sheet, look at the games he won. Even the games that aren't incredibly sexy, like Texas A&M, who wasn't ranked, top 15 defense that he hung like ridiculous stats. So I do think that helps a lot.
Yeah, and credit to LSU Creative because like you said, they put it in front of their faces. There was no missing it. There, maybe had LSU Creative not done what they did and LSU really didn't push this, there was the potential for people just to overlook him by just brushing him off. But I mean, you put the stats there, you put the videos, and you really get to know this kid through the stories that LSU Creative was telling, the website. It was undeniable. And I really do think not to discredit Jayden, obviously the Heisman play is there, but I think they really, really highlighted his abilities and made it undeniable. Like, there was no way that he could have not been named Heisman and people would be okay with that. There's no way.
Another thing which I think is insane is if you go back to the creation of PFF, which is Pro Football Focus, Jayden's season was the third highest graded season since the creation of that, and this was the closest Heisman vote since 2018.
Which blows my mind.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It tells you how much weight the record carries.
Or I even saw people on Twitter saying Jayden didn't have a Heisman moment. Okay, I don't need one. I disagree with you, but if that's the argument you're going to go with, I don't need a Heisman moment when he was top 3 in passing yards, number 1 in touchdowns scored, number 1 in passing touchdowns, top 20 in rushing yards. Like, he was a quarterback 1 and an RB1 on the year. Like, you're mad because he didn't have one single moment, which by the way he did. But like, come on now, it's just dumb, just bad arguments.
You know what's awesome though, Joe? We don't have to argue this point anymore because it's a done deal. Jayden Daniels is your 2023 Heisman. Case closed. Period. Now.
Wait, I have something else.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I think that is huge for recruiting. Now you can set up a pipeline like that pretty much. I'm not going to say 100% guarantees, but like that helps a lot in the recruitment of Bryce Underwood, number one quarterback in 2025. Like that's huge. But then another stat that I found very interesting is despite LSU's 250, 5-5 and then 6-6 seasons in 2020 and 2021, you look at the last 5 Heismans, LSU and Alabama have 4 of them. That's a wild stat. All right, moving on. Sorry.
Mic drop. I'm so glad we don't have to argue this point anymore. Y'all really don't understand. I think everybody was getting tired of it. Everybody in Baton Rouge media, sick of it. You shouldn't have to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. But we're done. Good riddance. Congrats, Jayden. Now to flip over, because we are going to argue this point. Malik Nabers was robbed of the Biletnikoff. Point blank. And the only Marvin Harrison Jr. won it. And I'm going to read their stats so you can compare them before we get into this conversation. Nabers on the year had 86 receptions, 1,546 yards, 14 touchdowns, and averaged 18 yards per catch. Harrison had 67 receptions, almost 20 less than Nabers. He had 1,211 yards, which is almost 300 yards less. Did I do the math right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Enough of a difference. 14 touchdowns and averaged 18.1 yards per catch. So the reason behind this, is it because Malik had a Heisman quarterback tossing the rock and that's why they discredited Nabers in his production? Or I can't think of anything else because the numbers are there. And look, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a great receiver. He absolutely should, I'm not trying to discredit him.
Yeah.
But it does raise some questions on what was the reason.
Yeah, so I think if you're looking at, I'm not as mad about this one as I would have been if Jayden didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah.
And so you listed through the stats there, and I think if you're just looking at solely stats, Malik should have won it in a runaway.
Mm-hmm.
But the two stats that stand out to me in favor of Marvin Harrison Jr. is that he has the same amount of touchdowns on 20 less receptions. So his touchdown per reception ratio is a lot better. And he does average, I want to say 0.1 or 0.2.
It's literally 0.1 more.
So
18 to 18.1.
So 0.1 yards per reception more.
Which does add up.
Yeah, so if you get it even, he would have, if they had the exact same amount of receptions, you can assume that he would have had a couple more yards. So I understand it from that perspective, especially having to play Michigan and Penn State, and I don't think they played Iowa, but Michigan and Penn State, that's two top 5 defenses in the country. So I can understand that argument, but again, Malik should have won it if you're looking at the stats and the season they had. Malik shared receiving core with another 1,000-yard receiver and the touchdown leader. I think these awards a lot of times tend to not go to the player that they should go to, but go to the player with the most notoriety.
Which is really unfortunate because how cool would it have been to have both the Heisman and the Biletnikoff winners be LSU players?
Now, look, I want to give credit to the person who said this, but Matt Moscona made a really good point. He said this has helped and hurt LSU. And so you go back to 2018, Grant Delpit was the best DB in the country. Wasn't close. Statistically not close. But he didn't win it that year. In 2019, he had half the stats that he did in 2018 and won the Thorpe Award. And so, it's helped and hurt, but these awards do tend to be a career achievement award. And so the first, second, really the first 2 years that you play, whether you have the best season or not, you typically don't win it.
Unfortunate, but you bring up very valid points. I saw a lot of angry LSU fans on Twitter this weekend. And somebody brought up the point, and I forget who tweeted it, but wouldn't it have been something to say that Malik isn't going to win the Biletnikoff because he had a Heisman quarterback and then Jayden didn't win the Heisman, and that was the reasoning? I think Baton Rouge would have went up in flames for sure. But on a brighter note, both guys did make first-team All-American. So congratulations there again, Jayden, and to Malik for that accomplishment. Incredible seasons from both of them. Does bring me back to the point. We've had a lot of mixed reviews. I know we talked about Jayden playing in the bowl game and whether he would or wouldn't. I saw a lot of people convinced that he's not going to. Do you think, has your stance on that changed since he won the Heisman, or does it stay the same? Because we know that Malik is looking, and I feel like this is an extra edge. Malik didn't win the Biletnikoff. Now he probably really wants to go break this record. And I feel like Jayden is the type of guy, he's going to ride for his guy. And I feel like he's going to play in this game for that reason.
Yeah, I tend to think the same thing. I don't think he plays the entire game.
No. I think it goes to the point where Malik breaks the record and then they're pulled and you see Nuss in.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. It just feels like storybook, and the character of Jayden Daniels and this team. I feel like that's what happens. Now, again, we don't know, and we won't know until January 1st, but I just see it that way. And yes, injury, especially with like draft stock, and like he's out of eligibility, and you really do want to be careful, but I don't know. I don't see him sitting out of the bowl game. I don't. All right, we'll switch it over to a team that's seeing a lot of success right now. Women's basketball, fun to watch. We knew they were going to be fun to watch. Not that Colorado game at the beginning of the season scared a lot of people, but y'all, there's some talent on this team, and it's not just the girls that you saw last year. Aneesah Morrow and Michaela Williams are on fire. They beat UL. I almost said words. I almost said ULL. 83-53 yesterday. They are still ranked 7th in the nation according to the AP polls. But Aneesah and Michaela, I mean, the numbers they put up, the way that they play. To give you a little background, we did that interview with Aneesah, which went crazy. It was so fun. She had fun. I had fun. Not good at basketball, but it is what it is. I got to stop trying to compete with D1 athletes, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop because we're literally about to do so much content. Here's some tea for you. We have golf set up. We're going to be doing some golf. I'm still waiting on men's basketball. So y'all are just going to see a lot of bad basketball. I'm even worse at golf. So this is you'll be entertained, to say the least. But
you're not supposed to win. Like
I can't grasp that. Like look, whenever I was on Up and In, God, my first week here, I straight up said, I am disgustingly competitive. And y'all laughed. But I think 5 months down the road, y'all are really seeing what I'm talking about, because it's bad. Anyway, my point being, I got to know Aneesah, and if you watch that interview, you get to know her too. And she is so unapologetically confident, and it's awesome. She's got huge goals for herself. She wants to break so many records, one of them being the single game steal record, which I think sits at 10 right now. She's got 9. But she said, I don't want to just tie it. Like, I want 11. And she wants to keep a 4.0 in the classroom. So I related to her on that competitive, confident kind of feel. And it's not too much. She's somebody that's really cool to talk to and even cooler to watch play. And I say that, and I bring up her confidence because she had a double-double, another double-double yesterday. And she was asked about it in the press conference, and she said, I strive to have a double-double every game. That is like the bar for me. That should happen every game. I'm a double-double machine, is what she said. And it's an unwavering confidence and you believe her when she says it. You're like, yeah, 100%, you're right. No doubt. And I think that confidence is a good asset for this team. And the talking point before the season was how much star power you have, and is it going to cause issues? I don't think it does, because Michaela Williams was sitting up there with her next to Kim Mulkey. They were on either side of Kim in the presser yesterday. Michaela, who had a career high in rebounds. I think Aneesah said that was the first time she beat her out in rebounds. But they are best friends, and they talked about how they push each other and how Aneesah's a leader for the team and for Michaela specifically, and they hold each other accountable, and they tell each other where they can be better. And the bond that they have, both of them being newcomers to LSU basketball, is incredible. And I think Aneesah being a sophomore, Michaela being a freshman, you're going to see them grow individually and as like a duo. I will say, Michaela Williams' shot, it is one of the smoothest, prettiest, sexiest shots I've ever seen. Anthony and I were talking about that at the game. It's just like, you love to watch it. That bond, that duo are going to do big things for LSU basketball. Mark my words. I don't doubt that both of them are breaking records maybe by the end of the season, if not earlier. That steal record I'm looking to see. On another note, Haley Van Lith is out. She's dealing with plantar fasciitis, which if you've ever had that, it is incredibly painful. It's in the foot. It makes it hard to walk, much less play basketball. she's out until further notice. And Kim Mulkey said, look, I don't ask. She'll tell me, they'll tell me when they're ready to roll, because sometimes there's a pressure that these kids feel to get back when the coach is asking, like, hey, how much longer? Hey, how you feeling? They kind of put this pressure on themselves to get back on the court. And Kim did not want that to be the case. So she said she's going to sit out until she's healed. And when she's healed, she'll be back on the court, and she'll let me know when that is. And the reason I was laughing yesterday, because the reason we knew that Haley wasn't playing was because she didn't have her braids in. She had a high ponytail. Little things, you got to pay attention to all of it. So when she didn't have the double braids in, which she has for every game, and she had the ponytail, I was like, yeah, she's definitely not playing. And she didn't. So hopefully we see the double braids soon again. And I will round out with this, and it was not, or round out for women's basketball news. It was not elaborated on. Kim Mulkey shut the question down multiple times, but Kateri Poole is no longer with the team. There was no explanation other than she is not with the team. And that is where we're going to leave it, because that's what Kim Mulkey said, and what Queen says goes. They do play again tomorrow. Joe's laughing because I just called Kim Mulkey a queen. Is she not a queen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. They do play again tomorrow. They'll play McNeese, another Louisiana matchup, at 7 o'clock. Also, they're doing a toy drive. So they're having an event on Friday, and they are accepting toy donations at the game tomorrow for that event. So if you want to contribute, help out women's basketball with their event, feel free to bring toys. I believe it goes to, obviously, Kids for Christmas, underprivileged children who may not get the same Christmases that we get. So if you want to help out, do some good, bring some toys to the game, help women's basketball do some charity. Gonna flip it to men's basketball. Not seeing the same success as women's basketball. If you've watched the games, you know what I'm talking about. It's, a little bit painful to watch. You got to give them some grace, because they are rebuilding an entire team, an entire program, face the adversity of Jalen Cook not being able to play. But at some point, you got to stop giving them the excuse, right? Now, Kansas State, they lost to Kansas State 75-60. Kansas State's a good team. Had 3 players on the offense averaging over 16 points per game. Very well coached. But when you've got 15 turnovers, and the turnovers have been a problem all season, LSU averages, I think, 14.3 turnovers per game. They had 11 in the first half. That can't happen if you want to win games. It cannot. And Jordan Wright in the press conference took ownership. He had 3. Will Baker had 3. I think Will Baker only had 8 points as well. So the offense was struggling. The offensive rebounds were not there. They had a total of 6. So between turnovers and just not being able to follow shots and get the ball in the goal after a missed shot really hurt them. And this is kind of the trend, specifically the turnovers. Jordan Wright, took ownership. He said, we know what the issue is, and we have to fix it. There is no excuse for it. It's got to stop. You just have to have better ball control. So they're hoping to hopefully start to make some progress on the turnover issue before they play again. They do play again Wednesday in the PMAC, so basketball both Tuesday and Wednesday night back-to-back. They'll play Alabama State at 7. Now, you know what else? I said some sports were starting to bleed over. We're getting a lot of LSU sports action because gymnastics is about to kick off. They have got their Gym 101 on Saturday at 4, which, if you haven't been, is kind of like an inter squad. I think we referred it to the Purple and Gold World Series for baseball, that kind of thing. That'll be happening on Friday. And if you've never been to a gym meet, I am encouraging you to go to experience that, because the theatrics and the music and the crowd, the way the crowd is so involved, it's sick. It is so cool. Even if you're not a gym fan, it's so entertaining. They always have a good turnout for those meets. So Saturday will be the first time that you get to see this team compete against each other. But it's a really, really, gym meets are so fun. They are so fun. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody who's been to an LSU gym meet say anything otherwise. They are ranked 3rd in the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics Association preseason coaches poll. That is made up of the top 36 teams in the country. This is their 12th straight year that, don't fall. Caught it. Nice hands, huh? What was I saying? The 12th straight year that they ranked in the top 10, the 27th straight year that they ranked in the top 25. They're behind just Florida and Oklahoma, who they will face both on the road this season, which is a little tough, but we like a challenge, right? And their first official meet will be January 5th against number 14, Ohio State. So after Christmas break, or at the very end of Christmas break, right? No, in the middle of, whatever. Come to Baton Rouge and support the girls. They're going to be working while everybody else is enjoying their weeks off of work, school, whatever y'all do. I forget. I've been out of college for 2 years, and I don't remember how finals or breaks work anymore. But support the girls either Saturday or January 5th or both. Those meets are fun. I'm telling you, go see it for yourself. And you know what? The last sport that I kind of want to touch on today is golf, men's golf. We don't give them enough love. And we had Connor Gaunt in here last week on Up and In. He did a sit-down interview with Anthony. He is so calm and confident, and it's a real confidence. Rightfully so, because he is now a finalist for the Fred Haskins Award, which is essentially the Heisman of golf. Big deal. That's a big deal. We're over here talking about Jayden Daniels being in the Heisman conversation. Well, let's look at Connor Gaunt, who is also in the golf Heisman conversation. That's an incredible, incredible accomplishment, even just to be named a finalist. And I believe he's got a pretty good chance at winning it, from what I understand. He, again, did an interview with Anthony. Very good interview. He's a grad student. So older, good experience through college. I think that interview is definitely something to check out. And
it'll be out tomorrow at
10:30
a.m.
It drops tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah.
At 10 a.m.?
10:30.
10:30. So be on the lookout for that. Follow Up and In. And to I guess, go with that, match with it pretty well. I believe that I will be putting with Connor this week. And that terrifies me, y'all. Basketball is one thing, and I can just say it's just rust. I can't hit a golf ball, and they watched me. We went to Topgolf for like team bonding on a random Monday, and whenever I've been on a couple dates at Topgolf too, and they never go well. TMI, whatever. Y'all are getting to know me for real. But whenever someone mentions golf in general, I like shudder. Because I don't know I can't say it's the softball swing, because I've watched baseball players just whack the shit out the ball, right? I can't touch it. It frustrates me so much. And you're going to see it. You'll get a firsthand look at what I'm talking about right now. In fact, I think I did this with y'all. When I go to Topgolf, I don't even grab I might grab a club and try a few times, and then I get frustrated enough to where I just pick the ball up and end up throwing it. You're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. You can get in trouble. You can also get hurt. But I have done that. So when this comes out, I'm just going to ask for some grace. It should be very entertaining, but I never claim to be good at golf. And I'm just forewarning everyone, to all the guys out there that I don't understand. Are you a golf guy? Like, I don't get the whole like obsession of guys our age or this generation with golf.
I enjoy golf. I will never, ever claim to be good at it, but I do like to go play.
I was talking to Cade York about this. Cade, former LSU kicker. Cade and I are good friends. And I picked his brain. I'm like, what is the pull? Because I feel like our generation of men, not to pull you into a good majority of they just have this infatuation with golf.
But it's not just our generation. Like, it's also like,
I know, but I feel like this came about like just a few years ago, where golf was like the cool thing to do with your guy friends. Like, has that always been I don't get it. I like driving the cart. That's fun. that's about it. I'm going to move on because I could go for a second. Tiger Tea, we're going to round out with Tiger Tea. We have some really freaking cool Tiger Tea because TKN just won the BPT championship in Qatar over the weekend. They finished their season, and if you don't know who I'm talking about Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss, former LSU Tigers, who are now taking the pro beach volleyball world by storm. They finished second in the world. They finished the season second in the world. This is their 4th world title in just the 3 seasons that they've been partners in the international on the international stage. It's their 7th medal of the season. One of those we got to witness in Chicago for that AVP Gold Open. Super cool. They are now the 2nd American team to win 7 medals in a season. What? Quit sleeping on them, y'all. Like, I don't think people understand how freaking good they are. Kristen Nuss won Defensive Player of the Year. This team, not only are they good, they are best friends. So, like, the chemistry on the court and off the court, by the way, we do host their podcast, Small Talk, Tall Tales. Check it out on YouTube if you want to know what their daily life looks like. They'll be filming in here tomorrow. Actually, I know if they make it back. I think they're back. I'm not sure. They were up for, Kristen said, 27 hours. Woke up in Qatar at like 4:30 in the morning. We're still in the airport at 10:30 on Monday or today or whatever. Had to switch airlines, no sleep. It was a big mess. But they are supposed to be here tomorrow to film another episode of Small Talk and Tall Tales, which I'm sure we'll get the inside scoop on what the heck happened in Qatar, their most recent adventures, all the good stuff. But going back to my point here, they are more than likely going to be in the Paris Olympics. These are 2 former LSU Tigers that will probably go to the Olympics and have a very good shot at winning the Olympics, considering they are ranked 2nd in the world. That is such a cool, I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. Not only that, Kristen is from New Orleans. So there's a lot of love here for the Louisiana culture, for our Louisiana girls. And of course, Taryn, by association, being an LSU Tiger, support them. And you know how you can support them. They do have a charity event in New Orleans on Saturday. It's called Sodak's Santa in the Sand. It's at Coconut Beach. I think it starts at 9. They have a clinic in the morning. So for anybody who might have a daughter, a sister, or you enjoy playing volleyball, you're on a team, they're doing a clinic. Why not learn from some of the best in the world? And they also are hosting quads tournaments. So again, if you enjoy playing volleyball, you might as well come down to NOLA, support the girls. All the proceeds and donations go to providing local kids and families with a great Christmas. And there's a cornhole tournament. So if you don't like volleyball, you can definitely find something to do. But that is happening in New Orleans on Saturday. Show up for them. They deserve so much love. They are great players. They are great people. They're fun to be around. They're so interesting. And they're really good at volleyball. Why not support our former LSU Tigers, who are probably going to be in the Olympics come next summer? Yeah. That's about all we got. A little bit longer today. Had a lot to break down. But we're going to keep the content coming. We've got not only the live shows now, but now we're starting to do the fun interviews. Again, check out that Aneesah Morrow interview. Get to know her. See where we're going with this Valley vision. We've got a lot planned, and we appreciate you guys' support, the subscribers, the shares, the likes, the comments, even just coming in the shop and saying, hey, y'all are doing a great job, or stopping me. God, I had so many people stop me at games and just say, like, hey, I like what you're doing. That means the world to me. I know it means the world to everybody. Joe, Mikey, Anthony. The support goes so much further than you guys know. So we do appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all on Thursday.